Hello, Cherie Hanson here. Wanted to share with you today this method that I have for figuring out how I'm doing. It's kind of like going in for a MRI scan or having your doctor do a series of tests and getting the feedback. And this has really helped me a lot in my life when I have a tendency to want to spiral off into anxiety or fear, or when I get into a place where I'm expecting the outside world to protect me and not trigger me. Well, if you're a minefield, you've got that minefield. They've got all these step on mines just there waiting, which is your wounding, your past, your childhood, your trauma. A lot of looking at the outside is kind of not wise. We do experience information that comes in, but we have to filter it through our intention. It's like a sieve or a cheesecloth. Not letting the great big ugly things get in. It's just like, so when I'm checking myself to see how I'm doing, the first thing that I check is I pay attention to my sleep. Your sleep is so necessary to keep you healthy, grounded, sane. Well, kind of sane. We don't want to be too sane. That way lies madness. So how much sleep did you get? How much of it was REM sleep? REM sleep is when you get the maid servant service to come in and clean out all the dust and the grit and the mold and everything that's come in your thoughts during the day, things you've seen, things that you've heard, things you've experienced. And now it's all sticking around in your brain. And the REM sleep is really great for just cleaning that out and giving you a fresh start. The other one is deep sleep. Deep sleep is when we are calm and in a type of sleep that allows our cells to repair themselves. I often think of cells as characters in a play. Your cells are there and there's a cut or a tear or a soreness or an assault and your cells are trying to repair themselves, and there you are up in your brain, which is the worst place to be. Get out of there. That's your ego. That's 95% your ego. And so you have cortisol. You have adrenaline. You have anxiety. You have fear. And what you're doing is you are re-injuring your cells. So just think about that. It's kind of like a mother who has 5 children, small children. You clean the house, but what's the point? They're just going to be tracking in mud again and smearing things. So that's what we do when we don't allow deep sleep to calm us down enough so that we can actually repair the damage that our stress, our anxiety, the outside world that seeped in has done to us. So that's the first thing I look at. I check my gauges and my Fitbit and that kind of stuff. And I feel in like the first 15 minutes of my day that I'm just killing it. If I got 8 hours sleep and an hour of REM and an hour of deep sleep, it's kind of like, what's the point of doing anything else? I have achieved perfection. Now, the other things that I look to feed back to me about how I'm doing are things that happen from the outside world, but positive things, not negative things. The neighbor's cat, so beautiful, will come up and sit on my deck and just look at me. I had a butterfly land on my arm and make eye contact. I kid you not. It was just sitting there and I'm just going, oh my God. And I'm looking in its eyes and it's looking in my eyes. Well, that sort of thing doesn't happen if you're giving out a jagged, low, dark, heavy vibration. Other things that happen that are just beautiful. You find a coin on the sidewalk, or a small child will be walking past. It was really interesting the other day. A little boy was walking past holding on to his mother's hand, and he stopped. He turned around and he looked at me, and then he went over and climbed on my fence and just stared at me with such a big smile on his face. And those things you can count on. If you have love pouring out of you from a small child you don't even know, they can read your energy. A cat can read your energy. A dog can read your energy. And that's feedback that tells you you're doing pretty damned okay if you're keeping your energy in a place where it is high, gentle, calm, optimistic. Some other things that you can use as feedback. First of all, you have to, let's say you opened the freezer and it was just a big block of ice, okay? There's stuff in there you'd like to get out, but you can't because it's just a big, impossible block. For us to get more out of life, we have to take our focus away from succeeding. Succeeding is the word that has damaged our hearts, it's damaged our bodies, it's damaged our immune system. Succeeding is a myth, that a hypnosis trance that we've been put under. Who can manage? Who can judge succeeding? Is it money? Obviously not, because we see billionaires right now that are so miserable in their lives that the only joy they can find is in making other people more miserable than they are. So money's not going to do it. Is fame going to do it? What about all these people who are famous who died alone in a hotel room from drug overdoses, with nobody with them? And you look at them and you go, but you were famous. Isn't that what I'm supposed to be trying to find, is fame? Another one that keeps us crippled is the urge to be perfect. Oh God, a Protestant society that says that it's not what's in your heart, it's what dust lurks along the base of your walls. How does it look under your bed? Is it clean under there? Are all your socks in pairs? Don't roll them, you'll stretch them. You have a certain way you can fold them. The whole issue of bottom sheets and how to fold them perfectly. That takes so much of our bandwidth. When we have all this information coming out about how to be perfect, missing the point entirely. What we're trying to achieve is how we can be perfectly at peace with who we are, with our growth. And so we look for our feedback. When I go for a walk along the sidewalk, I feel like a hunter, you know, in the African savannah. And I find the tiniest little blue flower that's got a white star in the center. And I get this feedback of joy. It's like, look what I found. And it makes me happy. And I know that that is a sign that I was already in the intention of being happy. I'd already set that up. I was walking the other day and I saw a yellow flower I hadn't seen before with this spectacular 4 petals and white in the center, and then this sort of pink, you know, what do they call them? The sex organs, where you can create more of them. And I was just thinking, I've never seen those before. And that is another feedback when you're testing yourself to see how you're doing. Are you seeing something beautiful you've never seen before? Are you responding with joy to something that you've never responded to joy before? I saw 2 Canada geese that are, I don't know why, they're standing on the strip of lawn next to the road up here at the corner. You usually see them by the lake or around water, but they've set up their territory there. And as I'm walking past, I see the 2 silhouettes of their heads, you know, one slightly ahead of the other. And they're so tall and they're so magnificent, and they are mates. And they are not in a rich, natural environment. They're deciding to live along the edge, that strip of weeds and lawn, along the edge of the road. And I'm just thinking about how does a pair of Canadian geese pioneer like that? Look at them. They're choosing a new environment. They have courage. They're going to shift their reality. Their reality is now along the road, and they're going to get everything they need there. So ask yourself the question, how did I sleep? How is my body feeling? Do I hold tension in my body? Are my shoulders up and tense? Are my hands clasped? Is my jaw clasped? Am I tightening my legs, my toes? If you can read that, what you see is, I think of myself when I was a child. It's like being in the front seat of a car without a seat belt, and your mother could slam on the brake at any time. You are living in a state of no protection. If you're clenched, you haven't found the place that makes you feel soft and warm and protected without any effort on your part. The people who are clenched, the people who are not paying attention to what their body's trying to tell them, are like children that have been slammed against the dashboard repeatedly by their mother's crazy driving. And they don't trust the world. They just don't trust it. So these are some thoughts I had today about giving yourself an exam to see how you're doing. And if you're in a place where you realize that things are starting to shift for you, that you are seeing more beauty, you are getting a little bit more sleep, you are getting that cat or that dog or that butterfly to come to you, make sure you pay attention to it because it's a victory. You are changing your reality, and that's what is up to us. Up to us. Go out there and set intention and change it for the better. Please do subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel or share it with somebody who you think it will help through these times of transition. Get a hold of me if you would like a coaching, channeled reading, a psychic reading, a card reading. I can help you nail down the things you really need to focus on instead of whatever your neighbor's doing. That's irrelevant. That's their path. And I want to, as I always do, say thank you for watching. Thank you for thumbs up. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate you.